Hello everyone and welcome back to Philosophical Fridays. This is the show where I take a big philosophical question, I break it down, and hopefully by the end of the video we have an answer. So, this week's question is, are subscription models the future of gaming? So, there have been a couple of major subscription models recently. There's been PlayStation Now, which allows you to play PlayStation 3 games on your PS4. And there's EA Access, which lets you play EA Access games on Xbox One. And I want to know, do you think that this is the future of gaming? Because I don't think we're going to be using discs forever, and I don't think digital marketplaces are going to be a thing forever. I don't think people are going to pay $60 for games ever. The reason why I think PlayStation Now subscription model is so enticing, and any kind of similar game model, is that you could basically pay 15 bucks a month, or however much it is, I think it's 15, and you can play whatever you want throughout the entire catalog of games. It's basically like Netflix, but for gaming, and it's access whenever you want. And there's a couple reasons why that's not going to be available to get like PS4, like current games available now, but I'll get to that in a little while. But I think if something like this existed, basically like a Netflix for games, and you could play whatever you want, whatever system, whenever you want, I think that's the future of gaming. I think it'd have to be a pretty hefty monthly fee in order to do something like this, and there are a couple other barriers that prevent this from happening. But I think it's the future of gaming, because obviously barring that the technology and the price could be worked out accordingly if something like this could exist. There are a couple barriers, like I said, but I'll get to that in a minute. I think that's the future of gaming, because I think a major reason for me why I don't buy that many games anymore is, I mean, I've always bought a decent amount of games. I play a lot of games, but I don't have that much money. I mean, I'd like to be able to play a lot more games that come out. I'd love to be able to play practically every game that comes out. There's not many games that come out I'm just like, yeah, I'm really not interested in that. I mean, I'm not really interested in JRPGs. Those aren't really my thing. Really kind of MMORPGs either. Those kind of Elder Scrolls Online, a lot of that stuff is not very interesting to me, personally. But I like action-adventure games, first-person shooters. I play a lot of sports games. I play a lot of stuff. So if I could have one sub-model that I could pay monthly and basically just play anything I want, it'd allow me to play everything that I want currently, and it would allow me to expand my horizons and play other games that I maybe wouldn't play ordinarily, but because I have this subscription model and I'm able to play the catalog of any of the games that I'd play, even though I maybe wouldn't pay $60 or however much the game was, but because it was a part of the subscription that I'm paying for anyway, I would play a game that I'd most likely like, and I would become a fan of the series because that would be available to me. And I think that's one of the major reasons why Sony loves PlayStation Now, is because they can get people who maybe, because Xbox 360 was the dominant console last generation, so maybe people who missed, Gears of War, Uncharted, games like that, could pick up PlayStation Now, pay a monthly fee, get to play all those games, then become a fan of the series and buy the $60 new games when those come out. So I think that's a major reason why Sony has, made that push for PlayStation Now. And I think they've made an article saying about how it's a big impact in the gaming industry because it's so enticing. It's got a pretty good price point. It's got a good catalog of games. I just got a PS4 myself, and I took a browse through the PS Now collection, and it was pretty enticing to me. I'm honestly thinking about getting a subscription because I was an Xbox 360 guy last generation, and I missed a lot of the Uncharted, Gears of War, a lot of those PlayStation exclusives. So paying a submodel for, obviously not, I'm working a lot now, but when I get some free time to be able to go back and play some of those games that I missed because I was on Xbox 360 last generation, sounds pretty enticing to me. And then I can play anything I want on the catalog. It's I don't know what's not enticing about that. And I think the reason why we won't be able to get that anytime soon is because there's a lot of technological barriers that could prevent like getting PS4 games now. The reason why you're not having that now is because those games are huge files. Even the day one patch files can be like gigs and gigs of data. And you look at games that we have now, 30, 40, 50 gigs is not uncommon for a game. And I don't know exactly logistically how you'd have to work it out, but home internets in America aren't that great. You look at the average internet connection, 15 megabits a second, which is really only about 1.8 megabytes or so. It varies, but that's not a solid enough connection in order to get that a solid experience on a PlayStation 4 game with files that are that big. It's very difficult to do that. You have to have a pretty solid internet connection on the home client, and you gotta have a pretty solid internet connection on whatever server you're downloading that from in order to get a fluid experience, which I don't think is technology that we have right now. I mean, hopefully as we go on, the current generation of gaming's files will become smaller, and it may be something that we'll be able to done, but as it stands, you'd have to have a pretty insane internet connection to be able to play those games in real time with little to no lag. So I think that's one of the major reasons why we don't see that right now. You get your games, you download them onto your hard drive, and you play it that way. So you're loading it from the hard drive, which is a much faster process than trying to load it real time in a server on a submodel, which is how that would work. So that's why I guess the PlayStation 3 games, they got them down to a size where you can download them in real time and not experience lag. Because I haven't heard, I mean, when the service launched, I heard a little bit of lag problems, but generally people say that PlayStation Now is pretty good as far as the connection goes. So that's one of the, probably the biggest reason why we don't have that now. But I think that will be the future, because like I said, I can't imagine people paying $60 for a new game forever. I mean, with Steam, people pay half that, maybe, even if. But if you could have that submodel, I think people would branch out and play a lot more games. I think developers don't really care so much about the money. They just really want people to play their games. It's the publishers who are more concerned about profits and stuff like that. And I think with like a submodel, you may be able to just cut the middleman, cut the publisher out, and just developers pay Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, whoever, to have their games hosted on the subscription model, and just do it that way and cut out the publisher. Sounds like a good idea to me, because I think a lot of the publishers are the problem in gaming, because you look at why games are coming out broken, because the publisher says, we need this game out now, so they rush the developer to get the game out, and they release the game that's not finished. It's not really because the developer wants to put the game out in the current state, probably 90% of the time, but it's because the publisher's like, hey, we've delayed this thing, we need our money, throw it out, and that's how you get a broken game. It's not necessarily that the game is broken, it just wasn't time in the schedule to finish it. Adding those polishing touches is important to get the game to run right and all that stuff. So that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to talk about the prospect of having a subscription model only gaming future. I think it's interesting, like I said, for so you could expand and play a lot of different games, and you're paying for the sub model anyway, so people would be able to fluctuate more and try different games. People would become bigger fans of gaming in general. They'll be able to get a taste of everything in the gaming realm. So I just wanted to talk about that, and hopefully how that may be our future of gaming. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.